bugging.
IROC says we didn't need 27 to win. LOA, it's so true, right? And that's what's crazy is it's you look at the score. And it's like, okay, yeah, you could have won this ball game scoring 14 points, and then you still got fans, even though you scored 23 on them. You got fans that think that's just absolutely insane that you should have scored more points. But moving on to defense, Isaiah McDuffie leading the way, 6 solo tackles. He was all over the joint, half a sack, also had an interception. Evan Williams, 4 solo tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. He had an interception. Kobe Wooden with 3 solo tackles and a tackle for a loss, which, by the way, did you guys see on
General?
Did you see it on Michael Parsons' sack? He saluted the general. How cool is that, man? That's something I look forward to seeing the rest of the year. Adrian Cooper, 4 tackles, 2 solo. Tyron Hopper, 4 tackles, 2 solo. Devontae Wyatt, boys, you're going to have to split 3 different game balls on defense, I believe, but Devontae Wyatt had a damn game, man. 3 tackles, all 3 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss. That dude was all over the place. And he also won the shot put award, throwing J.J. McCarthy what seemed like 12 yards when he sacked him. He just tossed him like a rag doll.
Jacob uses that move when he's got to kick people out of the club, right?
Yes, absolutely. That and the hip drop. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
The hip drop's a move you use on the pole. Let's be honest here, man. All right.
Did you not see Bates's comment?
What did Bates say? Oh, no.
Oh, I can't find it now, but it was basically that's what Jacob says he likes the hip drop at the pole. Oh, here we go. No, he said, we know those hip drops are the club, our money makers.
You know it, man.
Scared money don't make money.
All right, the Eagles just took the early lead on the Cowboys, 6-0, pending the extra point there. A.J. Brown finally gets him a touchdown, so hopefully you did start him this week in fantasy. All right, Godsmack AR69 with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, man, I'm getting sick of the Bears, Devils, luck this year, playing an Aaron Rodgers-less Steelers. Hopefully they'll get theirs at Philly next week. That's going to be a different ball game at Philly for sure, man, because there was a couple times there during that Bears game it looked like they were going to lose that ball game to a Mason Rudolph there behind the scenes. And again, when we looked at that game, I kind of felt like the Steelers would be 4-point favorites, but I didn't feel like they ran the ball as much as they should have. And right out of the gate, we talked about if you lose the turnover differential, you're going to lose that game. And I think it was like in the first quarter, we seen them already drop a turnover. So with that being said, the Bears continue to take the ball away and protect the football. Although that Caleb Williams, you guys see him get sacked in the end zone? Strip sacked in the end zone for a touchdown for the Steelers. That's vintage Caleb Williams. I counted it. 6 seconds he had the ball. 6 seconds in his hand, standing in his own end zone. It's going to bite him in the ass, I'm telling you, as they play better teams on down the stretch. But thank you for the super chat, guys. Matt, completely agree, man. The luck will run out pretty soon. You got to tip your cap. They're winning the ball games. But at the same time, man, it's going to run out sooner or later. So, all right. Also on defense, let's see here, Micah Parsons, 2 sacks on the day, right? Kind of led the charge, and he kind of created that spark, Jacob. You notice there when he got his first sack, the defense really came alive, it felt like, man. He is the spark plug. He is the gas that makes that motor go here on defense.
Yeah. I hate to admit, but I wish Amelia was still here so I could hear some snap counts, because it feels like they're starting to understand that, hey, this guy is capable of playing a larger majority of the snap counts, and he is just a difference maker, and he does. It doesn't matter what he's doing. If he's on the edge, if he's doing that kind of Joker mug look that you've talked about, I mean, he is, which is absolutely insane. Do you see how aggressive he is? He's barreling through centers and guards like they're nothing.
We didn't really see that until towards the end of the game, really. Really in the second half they started, if I'm not mistaken, right? He was pretty much firing from the edge most of the game, and then we started working him into those Joker looks, and it was like you could just see the influence that he had on that Vikings offensive line. They didn't know what to do or how to deal with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. One other thing here, I want to hit Biz 1987. Are haters forgetting how many offensive stars we had out this game? I'll take 23. That's
preach.
They don't want to hear anything, Biz. They don't want to hear a damn thing. It doesn't matter what your rebuttal is. Their argument is always going to be, yeah, but, right? Again, a win is a win, and I love it. To me, it's making them, it's shining the light of mediocrity on those fans that are being overly negative, and they're starting to look like a bunch of idiots. Is what's happening. That's slowly happening as time goes on this season, and we get a little later into the league calendar year here. So Warren Brinson, how about that with a half sack? You'd love to see that, right? My man getting on the getting on the stat sheet there. And then Kings
That was
Lenny
that
Barre.
one with him and McDuffie, right? They split that one. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And Kingsley Barre with a tackle for a loss, a huge tackle for a loss. That was on that 4th down stop, right? Am I thinking right?
Yep.
So you love to see that. And again, interceptions, McDuffie with 1, Evan Williams with 1. So the Packers with 2 interceptions. So what it comes down to is the middle 8 that was tied 3-3. We won the turnover differential 3-0. You win the turnover differential 3-0, you end up winning the ball game 23-6. You turn around and ran away with it. I feel really good about Savion Williams returning kicks. I'm not expecting him to break one, but he's always going to get you a nice little game there. He averaged 24. His long was 25 today. It just seems like more times than not, Savion Williams, I don't worry about him protecting the football either. He's not going to cough that thing up on kick returns. He seemed very, very aware of that.
Yeah, did you see him double clutch there on that one, going to the sideline? Like he's not getting peanut punched again. It's not happening.
Yeah, definitely. Romeo Dobbs too. Did y'all see him field that punt like this?
I don't know about.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody field a punt like they were catching a pass. That blew my mind, man. I was like, and I wasn't worried about it. When Rome's back there catching punts, I do not worry at all. I'm not expecting a big return, but I'm not worried about him catching. When he
That's the answer to the all caps tweets you see. Why is Romeo Dobbs returning punts? Because he's trusted to catch the damn ball. That's why. And we saw that today, right?
Yeah. And he did have a long of 16. That one return was a nice little punt return too.
Yeah. I will say that to both y'all's points, I think that he is probably back there because they trust him just to secure the catch. I don't want him back there. Like I just see him with the Guardian helmet and him. He's a little bit more of delayed where he kind of decides to make his cuts. It's just I don't want to risk somebody of his caliber back there returning kicks, but at the same time, I don't know who else we got to throw back there. So right now, I think he's doing the Lord's work. And same thing, like you said, Clayton, when I saw him, when the hands went up, I went, oh, no. And then he just grabs it, picks it out of the air, and starts moving forward. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so Brandon McManus, we talked about 3 for 3 on field goals with a long of 40, 2 for 2 on the extra points, tallying 11 total points today. And Daniel Whelan, I feel like we just need to stop talking about it. I mean, he's just so freaking money that he never misses. He never misses 4 punts, 190 yards, 3 punts inside the 20, and a long of 63. This dude, I feel like we may have the best punter in the league. Am I being too generous there, Tim, or do you?
I don't know. I've been saying it for 2 years, so I agree. You're not going to get an argument there. Sign him to a lifetime contract already. Let's go.
Yeah. And then another note here, we'll go ahead and close that out, is BRE. Be remarkable, maybe? Maybe. Anyway, in the chat, thank you so much. Says hadn't held up well, it appears. I agree. And I seen him on a run stop there once. Came firing in and made a tackle. I was like, damn, who was that? It was Haddon. So maybe Kamal Haddon or one of these guys that can fill in. I think we're expecting Keyshawn Nixon back fairly soon. They probably didn't bring him back because of the short turnaround, because they said he went off the field. They took him in the blue tent. He had a stinger. They took his shoulder pads off him. And then I think it was like 5-10 minutes later, they said his shoulder pads were back on and he was trying to give it a go. So I think he'll probably be back. Man. Yeah. But that's the same thing that happened to Quay Stinger, right? And he missed this week. Although I think we would agree, if he didn't have that short turnaround coming up, Quay probably would have played, So
I agree.
Yeah. So it's just nice to see Hafley kind of utilizing that depth and you get these backups in and the team really doesn't fall off that much, So it's a testament to his coaching, obviously.
Yeah, I thought Haddon played well. I really do. And you look at we talked about Evan Williams, with the pick and everything and how he looked in the back end of that secondary. I thought Evan Williams played great against the run today.
Oh, yeah.
They were buzzing him down in the box, and he was making plays, man. So fun to watch, 33, man.
Yeah, and just real quick, Haddon, 4 tackles, 1 solo. I thought another guy that maybe – a little underrated, Tyron Hopper out there, 4 tackles, 2 solo. I thought that he looked good also in some special teams plays as well.
Got it. Got it. You guys would take a quick second, hit that like button for us, hit subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live. Especially hit that like button. That lets the YouTube algorithm know that this how many people are watching the live stream here. I know sometimes people forget. I forget all the time when I'm watching live stream. It helps more than just take a quick second, smash that like button. Nick McSwain in the chat says no Reed versus Lions either, huh? I think I think Reed will be back. That's what I'm expecting. How do you guys feel? Do you think we don't get Jaden Reed back for the Lions game this week, or do y'all think he's good to go? Because I feel like he's on pace to return for Thanksgiving, or else they wouldn't have practiced him the other day. I think they wanted to kind of see, all right, let's get out there and test it a little bit. And I think we'll find out real quick coming up on the next practice here, which they probably won't practice tomorrow, I wouldn't imagine, right? Even though it's a short week, and they kind of get these guys rested up for Thursday. It's probably going to be one of those low preparation weeks to try to let everybody heal up a bit. But what do y'all think? You think we'll see Jaden Reed on Thursday against the Lions on Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
That's kind of my vibe right now. Like, because I want to agree with you 100%, but I also know it's the 21-day window, right? So they could hold him out and we get him back for Chicago, which I'm sure Bird would love that. Come back against the Bears. He's from Chicago. He'd love to beat that team again. But here's another scenario, right? Do we want him back out there too soon and then have a setback that, maybe takes us to a point where he's, not available to us? So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence, Clay. My gut's telling me he's probably good to go, but I don't know if they're going to put him out there or not.
Got it. Jacob, what do you think? You think Reed will be back Thursday?
I'm kind of with Tim. I'm dipping the toe in, but I'm not fully sure if I want to dive in. It's hard to say that this week felt like almost a trap game, as if we were looking ahead to the next week, being it was a divisional game against one of our most hated opponents. But it just seems like we are trying to kind of put some bubble wrap on a couple of really key players that we just say, all right, if we can get through this week, we can give them just another 4 days to get themselves healthy and really start maybe leaning into that back end of the season, which we talked about it in the pregame show, that I thought they had the strongest strength of schedule going forward. They confirmed that on the announcement multiple times, that yes, the Packers do have the strongest strength of schedule going forward, and we're going to have, I believe, what's like 5 out of our 7 games are division opponents, including this last one. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be rough, and it's going to be black and blue type old school football. So if we have a chance to maybe just get these guys a little more healthy going in, I would take that opportunity. I think I feel a little more comfortable with the wide receiver room than maybe other kind of components. Like, I understand why we would sit Quay, why if we need to maybe sit Keyshawn or something like that. But I want him back. I think that he is an absolute difference maker and could be a reason why people think the offense is quote unquote sputtering, just because we don't have some of the continuity that we have had with a guy like Bird.
Yeah. Chris, the casual in with the super chat. Thank you so much, Chris. He says, O-line, best game of the year by far, way to grind. I agree. I thought they played really, really well.
Yeah, I like that.
Especially leaning into the run a little bit. And I noticed a couple more outside runs with Emmanuel Wilson, right? That's something that remember we talked about that during the week, Tim. It's like, okay, when you really take a step back and look at how you've changed the way you're blocking and your running scheme for Josh Jacobs' style going inside duo, right? And then Emmanuel Wilson was here before we brought in Josh Jacobs, where we were still running a lot of wide zone boot looks. Lo and behold, you get a couple stretch plays out of the gate. And it seemed to really put the defense on their heels to where they can't tee off on the inside run. And they've really got to respect and honor the outside run. And once again, talking about when you face a 34 front and they're going 2 gap, a lot harder to run between the tackles. Let's try to bounce that thing out a little bit. You've seen Emmanuel Wilson do that a couple times.
Yep. And then you did see him find success up the middle too on occasion as well, because that's what you want, right? A balanced rushing attack. You don't want them to be able to key in on a gap assignment every time and know where you're going. And the fact that he is, that one he had with the spin move was great. He came up, I don't know if that was A or B gap towards the end of the game, and he's stopped dead to right, spins off, and it's 11-yard gain. I don't know how you teach that type of athleticism and ability, man. But it's fun to watch E. Wilson run the ball, man. And a lot like Josh Jacobs, he keeps those feet moving after contact. We always talk about, the best backs doing that. And that's how you turn these, plays that look like you're stopped, and it turns into a positive game because you refuse to, stop your momentum. And Emmanuel Wilson does it as good as I've seen a lot of guys do it in the NFL for sure.
Yeah. Doug in the chat says Hopper had a nice game, went belt to ass on a weave fence tackle too. Hopper looked good. He looked quick too. Did you guys feel like that when he ran the running back down from behind? You could see Hopper was like, okay, this dude, he's kind of got Edgerrin Cooper, Quay Walker speed,
He looked good in some of the coverage looks too. I don't know. Like we have to go back. I haven't watched all 22 yet, obviously, but we'll do a preparation on a short week, right, Clay? Do a little film study. But I thought he looked good in some of the coverage looks too, which was great.
What'd you think of Hopper, Jacob?
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I'm trying to watch the whole kind of, like Tim said, you can't watch the all 22. I wish you could. But I'm trying to kind of keep my eye on as many different players as I can. And every time I saw, he's 59, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It just seemed like that every time I focused on him, Hopper, you'd be like, oh man, that was pretty solid play right there. And I'm just excited that we may have another guy that's an upcoming linebacker in that room. And again, I don't think we can say just more about how McDuffie is kind of being a leader for that group right now. When you don't have Quay, when you have a young guy like Hopper coming in with limited experience, it's just awesome to see him kind of setting the tone. And that whole group just did amazing. I will say one thing. I do miss Eric Wilson. That guy still looks good. He seems like he's playing hell of games now. I wish we would have still kept him, even if it was just for special teams assets. But all in all, I think that our defense is just playing out of their freaking mind right now.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy, the Cowboys almost blocked the punt. They may have gotten called for roughing the kicker. There's nothing worse than seeing a gunner on a punt block team. I think they may have – I don't know if they picked it up or not. But anyway, he's saying he tipped it. They're keeping the flag down. But he didn't lay out to block it. He just kind of – what are you doing? You got to sacrifice your body on that, man. So we'll see if they pick up the flag. I don't think they did. Bad call there. So Eagles getting it almost at the 40-yard line after the penalty. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Obviously, we want the Cowboys to win that ball game. So the Eagles fall to 8-3, and also for SA over there. So yeah, completely agree though, Doug. I thought Hopper had a good game. I'm eager to get into the tape like Tim was talking about. Layers 805 in the chat says, "Dang, didn't realize Jay Jettis was playing today. Boy, they erased his ass, didn't it? It's funny when you ain't got a quarterback throwing the football. All of a sudden, Jay Jettis ain't looking that good. So I can understand his frustration. I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that or not, but
that's a good point. I was going to bring that up. 4 receptions, targeted 6 times, 48 yards, averaging 12, had a long of 19. I barely remember seeing him. You know what I mean? And that's pretty impressive to shut a guy like him down. Because even if I was out there throwing him footballs, he's so good that he'd probably snag a couple of them out of the air and make some plays with them. So I thought our defense did pretty darn well.
I think it's more of an another way to look at it too would be, the way we talked about how our pass rush was playing. The guys up front. Yep. I mean, really, there was no rhythm whatsoever to that Minnesota offense at all. And upper echelon receivers like a Justin Jefferson, man, if you're not in rhythm offensively, it's really hard to really go out there and do your thing. And I think he had one really nice grab on a completion from JJ early in that game. But that was about it, and it's like, I wonder, is he thinking of better days? Is he wishing he was still catching passes from Kirk Cousins or, Mr. Darnold, or, the frustration was real. You could see it.
Somebody just real quick in the Doug 7451 says Jay Jettis, did Addison play too? He did. He had 0 catches for 0 yards, averaging 0 yards off of 1 target. I don't know if you guys know, but that's good.
Terrible.
That's
what
pretty
about
good.
Naylor? Did Naylor get anything?
Naylor was 0 for 0, averaging 0 off of 1 target. So,
and how about Hawkinson?
Hawkinson, he was their second best, but he had 4 receptions, 19 yards, averaging 4.8 off of 4 targets. He had a long of 5. Even their guy, Mr. Adam Thielen, I don't know if you guys remember him, 1 target, 0 yards, 0 receptions, averaging 0. So there's a lot of zeros there.
Yeah, a lot of zeros.
Built their ass. BTA.
There it is. Thank you, sir. Ron Sample, been a member for 17 months, says 1 more win in the North than last year already. That's a wild stat. Let's look at it real quick. So you've already got 1 more win in the NFC North than you did last year. Up next, you got the Lions. That'll be a North game. You've got the Bears. That's a North game, right? Let me drop that down real quick. Thank you, Ron. And you got the Bears again in week 16. That's a North matchup. And then we got the Vikings again last game of the season, right? So you're looking at 4 more opportunities to get wins there. So, yeah, that's a great point, Ron. Yep. Great point. So
we're in the gauntlet, though, right? I mean, look at our next matchups. These are not gimme games, right? You got the Bears, you got the Lions, you got Denver. These next 3 are going to be tough games.
Right. If you got 2 losses that you can afford here, right? We talked about it's going to come down to 3 games, in my opinion. At Detroit on Thanksgiving, at Denver, week 15. Who, listen, they've they've had their hiccups too. And then Baltimore, week 17. Now, I'm not trying to overlook the Bears. You could lose one of those games as well. But those 3 games are the ones it's like, if you can win the games you should win and steal one of those 3, you may look up and have a 12-win season here, right? I could see that happening, but we'll keep our finger on the pulse so we get a little longer in the season here. Deadfish says, can't believe the Giants did not kick the field goal on 4th and goal, which would have put them up by 6. That's what happens when you're out of the playoffs at 2-9. They are 2-10 now. Deadfish, I could not agree more, man. And
playoffs?
Thank you, Coach Moore. I understand the golden rule of if you're inside their 5 or inside their 10, you're pinning them back so far that it's really going to make it hard for them to go down and score. But just take the damn points. How many times are teams going to do this every single Sunday, man? I don't understand it. It's why the Lions have found themselves in this situation now where they're constantly struggling every week. Like, they could not compete against the Eagles because they just constantly refuse to take those field goals. It's absolutely insane. So I'm with you there, Deadfish. Doug says, speaking of teams, how about our man Zane? Dude, Zane, high football IQ play, recognizing that guy coming out to try to block him after he decided he wasn't going to grab it. You grab a hold of that dude and you drive him back into the ball, right? And I love that Greg Olsen slipped up and said Peter on the telecast, and then said what was it he said? Peter, and then he went, or whatever it is they say, and he had another term for it. He caught himself. So if you guys don't know what that means, just ask ChatGPT and say, hey, you know what? Let's have some fun. Let's see if ChatGPT does it here. Y'all want to have some fun here real quick? Let's do it
now. Yeah.
Let's see what he says here. Here we go. This is my guy, right?
May have been the funniest thing Greg Olson's ever said on a analysis.
Right. Don't talk for a minute because he'll pick you up. Here we go. Hey, man, why do players in the NFL or in football in general yell Peter on special teams plays, specifically punt returns?
Yeah, absolutely. So when players yell Peter on special teams, especially on punt returns, it's basically a code word that means fair catch. It lets the teammates know that the returner is going to catch the ball without trying to run it back. It helps avoid any fumbles or risky plays, and it keeps the ball safe for the offense. It's pretty common across the league.
Bro, you got that wrong. Sorry. So when ChatGPT goes wrong. Now, if you do say Peter, they got to treat it like a fair catch, meaning everybody get the hell out of the way, right? Don't block. So he got that part right, but it obviously means don't touch the football. Everybody get away from the football. Treat it like it's a –
yeah.
There you go. That's what it means.
Like a what?
Greg Olsen caught himself earlier. But, yeah, high football IQ play by Zane Anderson. That was absolutely all. As soon as the guy stepped up, I literally came up out of my seat and said, drive him into it. Like, grab him, get inside the frame so you don't get called for a defensive holding on special teams, and steer him into the ball, and that's exactly what he did. Who recovered that? Who ended up recovering that part?
Was it Zane, wasn't it? Yeah.
Zane pushed him back into it, and he recovered
the ball. I'm almost positive. Double check that, guys.
I thought so.
Did Zane fall on that ball?
Yeah, he did. Yep.
Great call, Doug. Great call bringing that up, man. I'm glad that definitely would have gotten lost in the notes here. Michael with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. He says, can we put some respect on 52's name? Love his game today. I counted 3 run stops, and I could be wrong, where he was in on run stops. And then, of course, he had that strip that the ball flew out and McDuffie ends up getting the interception. So I'm with you, Michael. I think you're one of about 6 of us that acknowledge Rashawn Gary's playing good football every week. But it is what it is. But, yeah, completely agree with that, man. 52, I thought he played good.
He had 3 tackles, 1 solo, a pass deflection, and 2 quarterback hits, and obviously basically forcing that interception. So absolutely great game from Bane Gary.
On what I think Emilio said, 32 snaps too. So that efficiency percentage obviously increases the less snaps you got there. So he was very effective. Good eye there, Michael. Appreciate the super chat, buddy. Dark Arts Poker says, Thanksgiving feast on lion, early December feast on bear. We eating delicacies, gentlemen, served with a fine wine or a fine Wisconsin beer. There ain't nothing better than Wisconsin beer, man. Belt the ass with a Wisconsin beer. Sign me up. Sign me up. All right, let's go around the league real quick. Y'all want to do it? Let's hit it. Do this real quick, get an update. We'll look at the playoff simulator. We'll get the heck out of here. So going around the league, we will do it in no particular order. I'm just going to hit refresh one last time here, and let's do it. So obviously the Bears end up defeating the Steelers 31-28. They improved to 8-3. They're 4-1 at home. The Steelers fall to 6-5. They're 2-3 on the road. If you're wondering what happened there, Aaron Rodgers did not play in this game. He was kind of a game time scratch, I guess you could say. So Mason Rudolph, 24 of 31, 171 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked twice for a loss of 12 yards. So he played pretty efficiently when you look at that, other than the interception, which obviously is a huge play in that regard. Caleb Williams came out and played pretty damn good today, guys. 19 of 35, not very efficient in that regard, but 239 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was only sacked 1 time for a loss of 10. It was when he was sacked in the end zone, and that gave the Pittsburgh Steelers 7 points. So obviously without that defensive touchdown, they would have only scored 21 points. They ran the ball fairly effective. The Bears did 25 carries for 99 yards and a touchdown. DJ Moore was their leading receiver, 5 catches for 64 yards. So again, when you're looking at the turnovers here, it looks like the Bears had an interception and the Pittsburgh Steelers did not. In terms of fumbles, looking for that stat, if we could find it, do not see it. So maybe there were no fumbles. Doesn't look like it. So the Chicago Bears win the turnover differential 1-0, essentially, right? So you're probably going to win that ball game. So, yeah. Caterpillar says you called the under on Mason Rudolph's passing yards. Good call, Clayton. Yeah, we hit the under on that, thinking they would try to run the football. So I don't even remember what the under was, but he was definitely under. What was it, like 218 or something like that, Jacob?
It's like 216 and then fluttering with 218. Yep.
There you go. So, all right. So the Bears get the win there. Jacob, are you any more concerned with the Bears running away with the North, or do you kind of feel like this is another fluky win? Because sooner or later, we do have to acknowledge they're winning these close games, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point in the season, you have to acknowledge that their record is their record, and they're playing. I think Caleb is starting to settle into being more of a respectable NFL quarterback, but you still, like to your point when you talked about how the guy still holds the ball, the guy still makes some boneheaded plays, and to be honest, I do think that I think there's some statistics and metrics out there. Maybe if Bates is in the chat or something like that, they statistically are one of the luckiest teams that has happened in a long time. And there's going to be some negative aggression going forward. And although they may enjoy their time at the top of the hill, I think that we're charging up. We're going to rip them, throw them down, push their face in the dirt and pee all over them like bullies do. And I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm. Tim, you got anything you want to add to this Bears win over the Steelers here, 31-28?
Yes, the Bears still suck.
Thank you.
You heard it from a fan right here. All right, moving along. The Patriots beat the Bengals 26-20. This was a lot closer than people thought, right? So the Patriots improved to 10-2. They're 6-0 on the road. Mike Vrabel's got that franchise humming right now. The Bengals fall to 3-8. They're 2-4 at home. So again, the Patriots get the win 26-20. The game we just talked about, the Giants at the Lions, goes to overtime. The Lions get the overtime victory, 34-27. You can see kind of how it started. The Giants outscored them in the first quarter, 10-0. Giants came roaring back, scoring 17 in the second. However, the Giants scored 10 there, so they were leading 20-17 at halftime. Both teams were blanked in the third quarter, and then, of course, the Giants scored 7 points in the fourth quarter. The Lions scored 10, sent it to overtime, and the Lions get that Jameer. Jameer Gibbs is a hell of a running back, boys. There's no denying that.
That's good.
Yep.
Look at this right here, though. Somebody come look at this. Jameis Winston, 18 of 36, 366 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Dang.
And also, Jameis Winston had a 33-yard reception for a touchdown that he broke a tackle at like the 8-yard line and went in for the score. So Jameis Winston out there putting up Travis Hunter numbers. I can't say that without laughing. But so 366 yards passed, and Jordan Love want to heal up Thursday and go out there and hum that tater around. Jared Goff, 28 of 42, 279 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked 3 times for a loss of 22 yards. But Jameer Gibbs was just too much to handle today, boys. 15 carries, 219 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. He went absolutely off today. Let's see. You've got the receiving stats here. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 catches, 149 yards and a touchdown with a long of 30. He was targeted 13 times. Jameer Gibbs was targeted 12 times, and he had 11 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. So total yards for Jameer Gibbs, if you had him on your fantasy team this week, wow. What was that, 260 total yards? Am I looking at the numbers right, guys? That's insane. It'd be 264, right?
Yeah. And if you're in a PPR league, that's going to be even more insane because you add another basically 11 points onto that, and that he's going to win you your matchup just on a single performance like that.
So you talk about Tuesday players going into Thursday, Tim. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs. Got to know where those guys are at all times on Thursday.
Yeah, and we got to be damn good against the run, right? We got to play the run well because Gibbs will light you up, and if that starts happening, then it's a chain reaction, right? Then they're going to be able to target, St. Brown, and they've got a couple other receivers. What's the rookie, Tesla?
Yep,
Isaac Tesla.
Yeah, today he only had a target with no catches, Tim. And I know what you mean, man. He's looked pretty good this year.
Yeah, there's targets. There's targets there. So yeah, if you can be as stout as you can against a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs in the run, maybe we can keep him under 200 yards. That would be nice. And see how it goes. But I think it starts there against this Lions team. Because if you take that away, or not take it away, if you keep that as as well under control as you possibly can, it's going to make it a little harder for Mr. Goff to operate against us. So we'll see what the approach is.
Yeah, definitely. And so update, Mandy is still in that store. That's unbelievable, man. That girl.
Mandy's still in the store.
Either that or she dropped her phone.
And in case you were wondering, Clayton, Gibbs finished with 50 fantasy points, which is almost unheard of. That's
what Bates says here, 55.40 points in PTA fantasy.
Yeah, it depends on your metrics, but anything over that's just insane.
Whose team is he on in our fantasy league?
I don't know. I don't want to know. I know it wasn't against me this week.
Well, it ain't on your team, right?
I know it's not on my team.
All right, so there you go. Defensively, Aiden Hutchinson had that sack there at the end. Jack Campbell, 5 solo tackles. Amik Robinson, 7 solo tackles. Had a hell of a ball game there. Aiden Hutchinson also had 2 tackles for a loss. So Aiden Hutchinson continue to be a stellar defender for sure. In terms of turnover differential, I just want to see how that stat laid out there. They may have tied. Yep, 1-1 in turnover differential. So my guess is that the Lions may have won the middle eight. It could have been one of those funky games too, where you win one of those two and still lose the ball game. That happens from time to time. So just more times than not, it does. So obviously the Vikings dropped to the Packers here 23-6. We've covered it pretty extensively. The Seahawks improved to 8-3 over the Titans with a 30-24 victory. Man, they didn't run away with that one like people thought they were going to. So they squeaked by and get the 6-point victory over the worst team in the league there. And then you got the Chiefs beating the Colts. I know AFAM's happy tonight. His Chiefs beat the Colts 23-20. So the Colts fall to 8-3. The Chiefs improved to 6-5. Don't look now. Chiefs going to try to make a run at the playoffs. Color me shocked. All right, and then you got the Ravens beating the Jets 23-10 as well. No surprise there. So let's switch gears now and go to the playoff machine. This is what we've been waiting for here, gents. Let's see the updated playoff look here.
Playoffs?
As we come down the stretch here in Week 12. Let's hit refresh real quick. Bang. So as it sits right now, if the playoffs started today in the AFC, the Patriots will be the number 1 seed. The Broncos will be the 2 seed with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the 7 seed traveling to Denver to play them in the first round. You would have the Indianapolis Colts being the 3 seed hosting the 6 seed Buffalo Bills. The 4 seed Baltimore Ravens would host the 5 seed LA Chargers. That's how the AFC looks. Switching over to the NFC. Now, keep in mind, there's some games going on right now. I think the Eagles are up 14-0 on the Cowboys. Sorry, SA. So the Eagles are the number 1 seed at 8-2. They would get the first round bye. The Rams are the 2 seed. They would host the San Francisco 49ers, who are the 7 seed, although 49ers have to play tonight, or actually Monday Night Football. It was funny watching ESPN trying to hop that game up too, like anybody wants to watch the Niners and the Panthers play. But again, the Rams are the 2 seed. They would be hosting the 7 seed Niners. The Bears are the 3 seed. They would be hosting us, the 6 seed Green Bay Packers, and we're just a half a game behind them right now. And then you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the 4 seed. They will be hosting the Seattle Seahawks. So you got some games that are taking place right now. Obviously, the Eagles and the Cowboys. So if the Eagles win, we know what happens there. They stay the number 1 seed. If the Eagles were to allow the Cowboys to come back and win this game, the Rams would jump to the number 1 seed the Eagles would fall to the 2 seed. All right, with how that sits. So let's clear that back off. And then, of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the LA Rams tonight. That should be a hell of a ball game. Let's say the Bucs win. If they do, then the Bears jump all the way to the number 2 seed. That's how close we are to being the number 2 seed. We're a half a game out of being the number 2 seed right now. That's how close the NFC is at the moment. So that's if the Bucs win, and there would be the 4 seed. If the Rams win, however, they jump to the number 1 seed unless the Eagles beat the Cowboys, and then it would stay the same. But they've got a chance to climb up the ranks tonight, and the Bucs would still be the number 4 seed in that dreaded NFC South division. That is your walk around the league, your early look at the playoffs. Anything else you guys want to hit there before we get ready to wrap this big bear up?
I just think it's a good point by Dark Arts Poker's comment. It said, is it just me or is the league actually wide open this year? It feels, in my opinion, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, that it does feel like that this is one of those years where any person that gets into the playoffs on both sides of the, whether it be AFC, NFC, it just seems like on any given Sunday, these teams come to play and can be absolutely lethal.
Yeah, definitely. Tim, you got anything else you want to add, man? I agree with what Dark Arts says here, man. Is it just me or the league actually wide open this year? I think most of the time it's wide open. This year it seems closer than it's ever been.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely some big changes, obviously, on the AFC side, especially, right? We're seeing
Indy.
Indy, Denver, few new faces there. New England playing like the reincarnation of Tom Brady as their quarterback or something right now. And it's certainly shaping up to be interesting as we start to kind of, get a view of what the playoff picture is starting to shape up as. Obviously, there's a lot of ball left. But it does feel like regardless of where you're going to end up seated, if you get in the dance, I feel like any of these teams can be competitive down the stretch. So it is kind of wide open in that sense, right? It's the beautiful thing about our game, right? Once the playoffs start, it's win or go home, man. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Jacob, you got anything else before we wrap up, man? Anything at all? Any other Mark chats in? I think we're caught up, right? Got all the super chats in? Yeah, we're good there.
We should be caught up. Good game, great win. Wish that we could all just as a fan base just enjoy it. It seems like that for whatever reason a certain portion won't, but we always stay glass half full. I'm very happy with this win. I think it was a very quality win, especially some of the things and some of the people we had to maybe, like I said, put in bubble wrap and just be a little more cognizant of the way that we're going forward, knowing that we're going to play another really pivotal game going into Thanksgiving. I don't know about you guys, but there is nothing more exciting to me. I think it may be my favorite day of the year on a Thanksgiving day. It usually means that I get to deer hunt in the morning, get to my grandpa's house around noon, start watching football. We get the feast, we get the family, we get the friends, and usually it means the Packers will win. And I think that this year is going to be no different. I don't know about you, Tim, but I'm feeling pretty good about Thursday.
Me too. And I feel like, we can't overlook Detroit, and I don't think anyone is, but I don't think anyone here is scared of Detroit anymore at all. I'm definitely feeling good about our chances going into this game, especially considering, the personnel that we may or may not get back for this one, including two valuable weapons in, Josh Jacobs and Jaden Reed possibly being back in the fold. Gives us really good chances. So I'm looking forward to Thursday too. Short week though, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of do it on your own, right? Make sure you're watching film. Make sure you're doing what you got to do to rehab and get ready, because before you know it, it's going to be walk through and we're on a plane going to the Motor City. So go Pack, go baby! Turkey Day victory. Let's get it.
Absolutely. United Bates with the traditional super chat, $23.06. Obviously tweeting that or super chat. I said retweeting. I said quote tweeting. I was looking at the tweet off to the side. So Bates super chatting the score 23-6 as the Packers get the victory here over the Minnesota Vikings. One last thing before we get out of here. Thank you so much, Bates. You're always too generous, buddy. We appreciate you. So this is one of the recibos we had. Vikings report tweeted out, we're going to beat Green Bay by 2 scores and really confuse the fan base, aren't we? So I just quote tweeted it. Says still confused?
Nope.
So there will be recibos aplenty tomorrow morning. We'll be going live for PTA Victory Monday. We'll see what time that happens, but it's nice getting this early game in, man. It's still man, it's still daylight outside. We're good to go. So we will see y'all for Victory Monday tomorrow. I'll go ahead and start diving into the tape as soon as it's available. And it'll be just an extension of the celebration tomorrow, the victory over the Minnesota Vikings. Shout out to all the super chats. Miss Jerry, Godsmack, Chris the Casual Win, Ron Sample being a member for 7 months, and our buddy Michael Diesel Train with the super chat. And of course, United Bates always coming through in the clutch with the big dono there too. So we're out of here, guys. Everybody enjoy this afternoon slate of games here. Let's go root for the Cowboys, as weird as that sounds, right? And then, of course, we'll sit back and watch that Rams game this evening. Everybody have a wonderful evening. The Packers get the win 23-6. We'll see y'all tomorrow morning.
Peter.
Victory Monday. His uncle's name's Peter. That's why he's saying it. Bye.
Here we go.
Nice.
Bye, guys.